Everybody figured I would take up your suggestion of putting together something visual. So hopefully this video can kind of walk through how to set up a CRM, or at least the way that I would approach doing it, in terms of kind of creating an account database and then a separate calendar, and how those two things can kind of tie together. Obviously, it can get much more complex than that, but from a bare bones perspective, if this is what you're looking to accomplish, I think this is probably the most straightforward path for it. So first things first, I would create an accounts bullet, which would effectively serve as your customer database. So all of your customers you're going to want to get into there as a list. Um, those bullets would end up becoming sort of like canonical kind of source of truth bullet points for those customers. So anything and everything that you do related to them is going to tie back to that in the long run. So, that's going to be kind of what you're going to want to manage and curate over time. The next thing you're going to want to do is create a calendar, which you can do this a number of different ways. Obviously, the most kind of basic way to do it would be all manually, which I don't recommend. It would probably take you a whole bunch of time and effort and energy, and I don't know who has time for that. But what I've made use of is the WFX Power Pack, which obviously people in this group can attest to. Jay can definitely give you more information on that if you ask, but basically they give you some different options in there as far as how to create calendars automatically. So you can do it on a weekly basis, a monthly. There's a couple other things in there, but the one that I make use of the most is the ISO weeks trigger. So if I were to punch in, say, 2021, and now we have to zoom into that, and I'm going to trigger that WFX code. And after a few seconds here, it's going to create all of the weeks and all the corresponding dates. So that's my calendar now. One thing I like to do for calendar view, and this preference, you can turn those into boards. So it becomes a little bit more calendar-like, but that's totally your choice. So if we zoom out now, go back to the main, what we're going to want to do is start adding in some of these customers. So those are our two customers. And if I wanted to say, let's say, we'll jump to today. What is it? Probably like week. Here we go. So now I'm in here. If I had a call with somebody from one of these customers, I could say call with Rudy, and I'd want to tag the company as well. So I'm going to do the inline link to ABC company, and I would like to timestamp that. I'm going to put that in that I'm on the call right now. So I'm just going to say now in the notes. It's going to add in the note tag. And now I can also add in a tag here and say it's call history. If we jump into this the company now, there is a backlink history showing the the breadcrumb here, so I know exactly when it was. I can also see the timestamp specifically too. And another thing you can do, well, never mind, I can get into that another time, but basically you can get a full kind of CRM here over time as that kind of builds up, as long as you're diligent about kind of adding in all these little tags and everything. But you can also add these tags to the top under the company, so you can kind of filter that out over time. So as this list gets longer with other actions, if you only want to look at your call history, for example, you could just click on that. It would only show you those things over time. So different ways to manage it. I think, it's just a matter of preference on how, how you'd like that to appear. But that is something that I've been doing to manage it in line for my today list and have it kind of populate in other areas of the software.